This is a truth written to address our brothers in Kastamonu. I sent it to you as well in the thought that it will be of benefit. In return for the great rewards and earnings and the valuable results awarded to its loyal and steadfast students, as a prize, the Risale-i Nur expects a complete and pure loyalty and constant and unshakable perseverance from its students. Indeed, 20,000 people over 20 years can attest with their experiences that the Risale-i Nur affords in just 15 weeks, and for some in as little as 15 days, the strong tahqiqi iman achieved in 15 years. Furthermore, based on the principle of partnership in deeds of the hereafter, it affords the complete rewards gained every day through the acceptable du'as by the thousands of pure tongues of each of its students and the totality of good deeds performed by thousands of virtuous people. It thereby makes every true, loyal, and persevering student equivalent to 1,000 people in terms of good deeds. Proof of this is the three karamats and appreciated reports by Imam Ali radiallahu anh, and the acclaim and encouragement announced by the karamats from the Ghaib by Gawsul Azam, and the strong indications of the Qur'an of miraculous exposition. They prove with certainty the joyful news that those pure students will be among the people of bliss and people of paradise. Such a gain indeed deserves such a prize. Since this is the reality, the people of knowledge, tariqah, and followers of the Sufi paths who are close to the circle of the Risale-i Nur are expected to enter its current, and using their experience from their knowledge and tariqah should work to strengthen it, expand it, and to encourage its students. In order to achieve a complete pull, it is necessary and essential that they cast their ego, which is like an ice block, and dissolve it into the water of life within that pool. Otherwise, by breaking new ground in rivalry against the Nur, they will be at loss and will harm the straight and firm highway of the Qur'an without realizing. Rather, they will be indirectly assisting the atheists. Beware that worldly currents, particularly political currents and especially foreign currents, do not divide you. Do not allow the misguided groups united before you to scatter you. By allowing, may Allah protect us, the satanic principle of al-hubb fi siyasa wal-bud fi siyasa, to take the place of the merciful principle of al-hubb fillah wal-bud fillah. Do not harbor enmity to an angel-like friend of truth, and nurture love and support to a devious political friend. By favoring their tyranny, true partisanships do not spiritually share in their crimes. Indeed, the politics of this age corrupts the heart and torments people with a temperamental spirit. Anyone seeking peace of heart and comfort of spirit should abandon politics. In fact, everybody on the face of the globe is tormented, wretched, and experiences suffering either in the heart, spirit, mind, or body due to their share in this calamity. In particular, since the people of misguidance and people of heedlessness live unaware of the general divine mercy and the peerless wisdom of His glory, due to the inherent human compassion and concern for humanity, in addition to their own pains, they become surrounded and pained by the current distress and terrible pains humanity suffers. By abandoning their true duties and necessary functions in an unnecessary and trivial manner, by curiously following and busying themselves with random political fighting and matters of the world, they have stupefied their spirits and rattled their minds. And in regard to willingly and actively accepting harm at their own expense, through the fundamental principle of al-radi bil-darari wa la yunzaru lah, meaning, do not show compassion to those who willingly accept harm, they forfeit their right to compassion and worthiness to mercy. They should not be pitied and treated with compassion, and they will bring trouble upon themselves unnecessarily. It is my opinion that those who are able to sell and preserve a sound heart and peaceful spirit in these blazes and storms of the world are only the true people of Iman and the people of reliance and submission. And among them, those who are predominantly saving themselves are the ones who enter the circle of the Risale-i Nur with loyalty. For through the Nur and vision they have received from the Nur's lessons of Tahkiki Iman, they see in everything the marks, essence, and expressions of divine mercy and witness His perfect wisdom and the glory of His justice in all things. And so in perfect surrender and submission they greet calamities, which are the activities of divine Rububiyyah, with submission by smiling and showing acceptance. Since they do not extend their mercy beyond the measure of divine mercy, they avoid suffering, anguish, and pains. In consequence of this truth, as countless experiences confirm, those seeking the happiness and pleasure of the hereafter together with the pleasure of this worldly life can find it in the lessons of Iman and Qur'an within the Risale-i Nur. 2 warnings from 2 recollections in recent days. The first, I recalled how the elderly women of this city who have connected with the Risale-i Nur show steadfastness and are not shaken like others. The following hadith was suddenly warned, Alaykum bidinil ajais. That is, in Ahir Zaman, follow the sincere religion and strong beliefs of elderly women. Indeed, since elderly women are by their nature delicate and sensitive and compassionate, they are in need of the consolations and lights found in religion more than anyone. And due to this self-sacrificing compassion they have in their nature, being more than others, they are needy of a light of consolation offering limitless compassion, the favor of the mercy of Rahman, and the point of support and assistance found in religion. It is in their nature to have perfect steadfastness. That is why the Risale-i Nur, which completely fulfills that need in this age, becomes most pleasing to their spirits and clings to their hearts. The second, in recent days, I had various people each visiting me at different times. I thought they were here for the hereafter, whereas their intention to apply to us and the Risale-i Nur was to ask for dua and consultation due to a downturn and loss in their trades or their businesses, and to achieve success and be saved from losses. I thought, what can I say or do for these people? I was suddenly warned, you should neither be a lunatic, nor should you leave them in their lunacy and speak to them like a madman. Because if a man who is concerned and responsible for finding antidotes to treat venom and wards of snakes decides to help some other man who is surrounded by flies and exposed to their bites, who already has many helpers to ward off the flies, one who ignores snake bites and runs to help ward off fly bites is a lunatic, and those calling him to this are also lunatics. The discussion of this is also madness. Yes, when compared to the everlasting life of the hereafter, the temporary and transient losses of worldly life are like the bites of a fly. In contrast, the losses of eternal life are like snake bites. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our very esteemed Ustad Efendi. In the year 1321, I saw the Risales of the miracles of Ahmed والسلام, and the Keramet of Gauss, the 8th ray, in the realm of sleep. Until now, I was unable to understand the reason for it. The dream I saw was like this. During that year, I was in the city of Qasim in the Najd region of the Arabian Peninsula when I saw in a dream that 3 suns were rising. I asked someone beside me who I had not met, How is it that there are 3 sons? The person beside me said, the first son rising is the son of the noble Prophet ﷺ. The other is of Ghaus Geylani. The third is another son. I now understand that the third son is the Risale-i Nur. الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء. The ayat of the Qur'an has pointed to the truth in that dream. This luminous dream shows exactly the truth of the above ayah of Nur with 10 signs and 10 fingers. It informs of it 38 years ago. Yes, the interpretation of the 3 great sons should Allahu Alam be like this. The first son is the Risale-i Nur in this age, and one of its most brilliant lights is the wonderful Risale titled Miracles of Ahmed ﷺ. The second is the son of heavenly light coming from the true religion of Hazrat Isa, Jesus ﷺ. The third is a son that will rise from the spirit of tariqah and the origin of tasawwuf, the meaning of which is now seen in the form of Shaykh Geylani. I have seen with my eyes how the ayah of Nur, which is the very first of the 33 ayat of the Qur'an, pointing to the Risale-i Nur in the Risale on the first ray, shows signs of the Risale-i Nur in 10 aspects. Those who want can also see it. Your weak student who loves you more than his own soul, measure Muhyiddin. To our dear, loyal, firm, and steadfast brothers, on behalf of the students of the Risale-i Nur in this region, we send you our many salam and express our gratitude. We are forever grateful that you have awakened us and reached out to us with your strong and brilliant pens. With those luminous pens, you will inshallah make this province resemble Sparta, and in particular the brilliant, successful pen filled with tawafuk of our very important brother, the champion Tahiri, is making keramet-like conquests, and the colorful and assorted writings of both his children and those of the innocent and illiterate elderly which display their virtues captivate us and encourage everyone to read it with favor. May Almighty Allah be eternally pleased with you all, and may He grant you success. Ameen. The important news of the attack incident forwarded by our very important and blessed brother Hafiz Mustafa has left us astonished and has made us appreciate the worries and anxieties our Ustad was going through at the time. With foresight, he would repeatedly tell us, "Beware, be steadfast, the munafiqs are running a plan of attack." While cautioning us to be alert, he was saying, they cannot do a thing. Yes, just as our brothers in Sparta have informed us, despite our communication being cut when this significant attack was attempted, our Ustad was repeatedly warning us, that is Amin and Faizi, as if we were subjected to the same attack. He would say, "Beware, there is an attack against us in 4 aspects. Be steadfast as steel. They cannot do a thing." We would look at ourselves but see nothing happening around us. We did not feel anything. Also, in order to eradicate the effect of that incident from the guide, he made us write out a completely consistent letter which we have sent you. From the students of the Risale-i Nur, Nazif, Salahaddin, Tawfiq, Hilmi, Amin, Faizi. Bismihi subhanahu wa in min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdih. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear, loyal brothers, and my champion friends in the service of the Qur'an, I had sent you 3 letters after receiving the trust. I am worried as Hafiz Ali has not mentioned them in his letter this time. The custodian of the Nur factory, Hafiz Ali's illness has deeply saddened me and has impelled us to offer prayers. May Almighty Allah grant him strength and cure. Ameen. The letter written by Hafiz Ali and the letters by Ahmed Feyzi, who is within the system of Halil Ibrahim and an important pillar of the Risale-i Nur, putting aside the favorable thoughts of me that are 100 times greater than my due, and not including them, have greatly pleased us, since they show the extremely strong connection both Halil Ibrahim and Ahmed Feyzi have with regard to the spiritual collective character of the Risale-i Nur in that region. Indeed, their intense connection installs the Risale-i Nur in that region and sustains it. The apparent references in both their letters to the significance of my person are not suitable and are an exaggeration. However, beneath that mistaken form, that truth is consistent, true, and worthy of being expressed for the collective spiritual character exuding from the sincere solidarity of Risale-i Nur students, and the truth of the Risale-i Nur which comes from the Qur'an, but has been attributed to an insignificant person like myself. While being 1,000 times beyond my due, on behalf of that collective spiritual character, and on account of the truth of the Risale-i Nur, in terms of it being assigned to the extraordinary connection and activity in that important and much needed city, I accept them. We regard Ahmed Feyzi's letter as being a demonstration of his determination and commitment to work for the Risale-i Nur with all his strength, inshallah, just like the Feyzi of Kastamonu. But with such great humility and humbleness and such great wishes, and with such beautiful du'as in his letter, he is shoulder to shoulder with Feyzi here in our permanent du'as. I accept the letter of Halil Ibrahim, rather all his letters, on behalf of himself and on behalf of Ince Mehmet. Like Hüsrev and Rüştü, I look upon both of them as a single spirit with 2 bodies. May Almighty Allah grant them success and multiply their examples. And he informs in that letter that together with Hafiz Mehmet Emin and Mustafa Çavuş from among the students of the Risale-i Nur, people like Ahmed from Siirt, Salahaddin and Izzeddin are also in connection with the Risale-i Nur. We too pass on our salam to each of them, and we will make them share in our du'as within the students of the Risale-i Nur. In Hafiz Ali's letter, he has nicely acknowledged and summarized our letter he has received. The expression, since the Risale-i Nur is the shop of eternal happiness and sells eternal diamonds, transcends broken fragments of glass should not be sought from it, suits nicely. We pass on our salam and dua to each of our brothers in Sparta and Manisa, and we await their duas. Is the last scribe of the Risale-i Nur who was imprisoned, Champion Shafiq, alive? Where is he? I would like to know. Ask Halil Ibrahim about this. My dear, loyal brothers, after the haram months, particularly with spring approaching, the degree of laziness due to the heedlessness of the life of this world, and certain disruptions, illnesses, and enlistments into the military made me feel anxious as to whether there was a level of weakness in the service of the Risale-i Nur. Thanks be to Almighty Allah that your letters and the arrival of Atif Hasan, those worries have gone. In that letter of yours, you raised a very important instance of the Nur, which is the printing of the Hizbul Akbar al-Qur'an. Yes, the ayat in that Hizbul Akbar al-Qur'an is the spirit, foundation, origin, ustad, and son of all the Risale-i Nuriyya. If possible, after printing this, it is also necessary to print the Risale called the Hizbul Akbar of the Risale-i Nur, which is in Arabic, and is the summary of the 2 stations of Ayatul Kubra and Munajat. But the copy you have with you is not as perfect as my copy. If you like, we can scribe it here and send it to you, or we can send it to your representative at the printers in Istanbul. You will need to send us the address. Our brother Hasan Atif is very much worthy and capable for the Risale-i Nur's service. As well as his exceptional skill in scribing, his ihlas, connection, concern, seriousness, and loyalty are also perfect. May Almighty Allah multiply his example. We have sent you this brother of ours as a living letter in place of 20 letters. In response to the very high and very effective letter Hafiz Ali has written to his brothers here, on behalf of everyone, foremost Feyzi and Emin, Feyzi says in reply, as students in the city, we are the junior brothers of the champions of Sparta, rather we are their students. We learn from their lessons, service, and seriousness. Each of them are like ustads for us. We kiss their hands and show them our respects. May Almighty Allah be eternally pleased with those champions. Ameen. The beautiful words in the very short letters written by the first students of Sabri, the manager of the Risale-i Nur peer, and an important junior student of the Risale-i Nur, has delighted us. May Almighty Allah grant guidance, peace, and happiness to him and the innocents like him who work for the Risale-i Nur. Hafiz Mustafa's letter, which we regard as being very important, has shown a truth that I had been expecting for a long time. The students in the circle of the Risale-i Nur will attend to important duties like printing by way of consultation. My dear, loyal, sincere, and devout brothers, I will briefly say the following to 4 or 5 of my brothers. Firstly, we have this time seen the third gift filled with barakah of our brother Hajj Hafiz, who is the Murshid, founder, and manager of the Madrasa-i Nuriya. With the amazing barakah of the small sweets we had a long time ago in Barla, and just over 2.5 kilos of honey, which sweetened the Risale on frugality in Sparta, instigating a wonderful incident, and now, for this third time, representing the interests and favors of the thousand blessed and innocents, he has sent a gift that cannot be divided. Note, I cannot remember it exactly, but it is my guess now that honey was also his. For the sake of those 1,000 interests, I have forgone the interest of my principle, which has been my life principle for 60 years. Secondly, I contemplated over the miracles of the Qur'an, which is truly scribed with tawafuk in an extraordinary way by Atif Hasan. If I had the means, I would have given him 1 lira for each of its pages. Inshallah, by enabling thousands of people to benefit from that copy, it will become like a spring of rewards for his eternal life. He is now third in the line of Yusuf and champion Tahiri. Thirdly, the true and meaningful dream of Osman the clerk, who is an old, an important, and hard-working student of the Risale-i Nur, and his consistent interpretation has given them a sense of relief and made us joyful as well. And in his letter, he writes about everything I am anxious about. He sends the salams by Hüsrev and Rüştü, Hafiz Ali, Zühdü Bedevi, Nuri, and the custodian of the Nur factory, the Tahirs, the blessed group, Madrasa Nuriya, the illiterate elderly, and the innocent children. We too send our salam to each of them, and we pray for their success and well-being. Your activities have inspired this region with great enthusiasm, just like it has other regions, and since the Risale-i Nur has spread so much, it makes the people of the world ponder, and it attracts their attention. This outcome has led to certain minor harassments. Like always, it is still necessary to be cautious. Hazreti Imam Ali radiallahu anh saying, Sirran tanawwarat twice, is a sign that the Risale-i Nur will be enlightened and will illuminate beneath the veil. Do not attach any importance and follow fleeting incidents as much as possible. Your sincere solidarity and consultation as enjoined by the Sharia will already protect you from such things. Through consultation, it will notify the view of the collective spiritual character among you. Your brother and your friend in the service of the Qur'an, who is and will always be proud of you with indebtedness in this world, the Barzakh, and the hereafter, Said Nursi. My dear loyal brothers, do not be saddened at this recent incident of attack, because through many experiences, the Risale-i Nur is under divine protection. Until now, no group has been saved by suffering as little as we did for such a significant service. Also, beneath the apparent difficulty and troubled states, such as my illness last Ramadan and the calamity we suffered in Eskişehir, a great and more effective victory have been seen as taking place in favor of the Risale-i Nur. Inshallah, this distressing incident too will turn the aims of the munafiqs against them and will facilitate the conquest of the Risale-i Nur in other areas. It is important that they have got hold of the fifth ray, which has entered the race and discusses matters written 25 years ago, with the addition of only 1 or 2 pages, which are its implementations in this time. But there is wisdom in this as well. It should rather be seen as an extraordinary divine enactment beyond our will, which informs them about their methods, and so that the nature of the man who has gone to hell can be understood. Without an anxiety, we should have reliance on the wisdom, favor, and protection of Almighty Allah. Both you and they should be aware that just as Sadaqah repels calamities, the Risale-i Nur is a means of repelling and abolishing heavenly and earthly disasters from Anatolia, particularly in Isparta and Kastamonu. Yes, the meaning Sabri has extracted from the ayah, Ya ardubla'i wastawat ala al-judiyyi, is true and consistent. Indeed, like the ark of Prophet Noah, the Risale-i Nur is one reason why Anatolia has become like Mount Judy, rescuing it from the fires and deluge of the planet. Because just as extreme tyranny which comes from weakness of Iman causes the befalling of general calamities, divine mercy has made the Risale-i Nur, which strengthens Iman in an extraordinary way, become the means of keeping that general calamity outside of its circle. The people of this world and the people of Anatolia, even if they do not enter the Risale-i Nur, should not interfere with it. If they do interfere, they should think of the fires, floods, earthquakes, and plagues nearby approaching them and be wise about it. Since we do not interfere in their worlds, it is very likely that their unnecessary interference with our hereafter to this degree will bring them disasters. Thus, these last 8 months, especially while you were faced with these incidents which caused great stress, both Faizi and Amin, who are close to me, and all my friends I have contact with, bear witness that throughout the past 8 months, I have never asked about the Great War or about politics. And for 3 years, I have not listened to the radio which can be heard from my room. Whereas I have reasons to the number of thousands of men to look at this world. This means that anyone who interferes with us is directly assaulting Iman. We refer them to Almighty Allah. Moreover, despite having no connection with the people of politics, they should know this for certain, that the only way to save the nation from anarchy and absolute degeneration and decline in this country and this age is the principles of the Risale-i Nur. Those innocents and their ustads who have suffered due to these incidents should know that to stand guard for 1 hour under extreme conditions is like a year of worship, and with the true contemplation of Iman, their 1 hour is equivalent to a year of worship. In the same way, inshallah, their distresses too will be a means of such rewards. They too should greet it, not with anxiety and sadness but with relief and joy. However, due to Hazreti Ali radiallahu anh saying, Sirran bayana, sirran tenavvarat, twice, we are responsible at all times to preserve our state of utmost caution and utmost avoidance. We recently experienced a proof that members of the Risale-i Nur are connected with each other beyond their consciousness and will, and that they are related to the events each go through. It is as follows. From the time of that incident until now, the condition of the students here who are at different levels began showing signs of change. As if due to an important incident, they withdrew and underwent a stoppage phase in order to avoid attracting the attention of munafiqs to themselves and us. I too was very surprised. Also, we realized that the interpretations of the dreams seen by a few people such as Nazif was related to your incidents. We pass on our salam and dua to each of our brothers, especially those who have suffered the calamity. May Allah Almighty give them a swift recovery and send them back to continue their duties. Ameen.